Welcome back to the Piney Woods Homestead, y'all. This is part 2 of the new Freedom Ranger 1980s chicken house build. And hopefully it's the last part of it. We have already been busy this morning. We have bred Dixie, our Hereford gilt. And she was bred using a boar named Rebound from Schaefer's Gold Rush in Indiana. I will put a link to Rebound's little YouTube clip. He's one heck of a boar, y'all. I think you will enjoy taking a look at him. But today we're going to get on this. There's a lot to do. Lisa's got to move tomato plants out of the house. I got to string up lights for the 3rd time. Grow lights. This is busy. This is the busy time of the year, isn't it?
And we got rain coming, so we've got like a whole bunch of stuff to get done in
Short amount of time.
Basically a day and a half.
That's the way it goes, y'all. And I'm not done with that clearing project down here. And I need to really be working that ground within about a week and a half at the latest. So we'll see. I got to get it done. That has to be done. So yeah. I need about 3 of me, y'all. You ever feel like that? Need a couple of you too?
That'd be great.
I don't know if I can handle a couple of you. I shouldn't say that. It's probably the other way around.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for stopping in at the Piney Woods. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you have, as always, we appreciate you. I always mess that up. We're going to get into it, guys. Y'all, I am just running 2x6s. I've got to run one more run of them here on top of this predator shield at the bottom. And it will just be one run on this side on top. And I've got the rest of the metal to put down in places where this predator shield needs to be just a little bit lower underneath the dirt. Y'all, let me tell you a funny little story. I say it's funny. One of my brothers probably won't say it's very funny. We raised chickens commercially in the 1980s. Early 80s, to be exact. And back then, your chicken houses weren't like the chicken barns of today with no windows, cool cells to keep everything at constant temperature. Nothing but lighting to give them a source of light. Chicken houses back then were more open air. They weren't clear span trusses. We had 4x4 center posts inside of the chicken house, and we had about 2-foot cinder block foundations that went all the way around them. And we used curtains, y'all, to manually raise and lower curtains to regulate temperature, that sort of thing, y'all. So it was a lot different back in the early 80s. And basically that's what we're doing here on a very small scale. Is we will be able to regulate through putting a few curtains in here temperature changes. If it's a real windy, cool day, we can shut those curtains about all the way. As far as lighting goes, we're going to have natural lighting from the end in the evenings. We'll have some natural lighting in the mornings from the sun coming up to the east, because this space is east to west for the most part. Plus, you just have good airflow through here because the breeze always tends to blow in this direction. But the funny story, our dad would always let us go in and collect up chickens that the chicken catchers would cull. They wouldn't take them with them to the processing plant. And we would catch those chickens. We were young boys, and we had to dispatch those animals inside of the chicken house, take them to mama. She'd scald them, pluck them, put them in the freezer. Well, there was one chicken left, and I was the youngest of 2 boys. 3 siblings, 2 boys, my 2 older brothers, and I wanted that last chicken. Well, my middle brother, I call him G-Man, George, he went to catch that chicken. It was near the foundation wall, and I pushed him, and he hit his head on that foundation wall. He had a white t-shirt on. I can remember it to this day, and blood started squirting with every heartbeat out his back, down his back. And he ran all the way to the house. It was a good ways, crying for daddy. I'm sure I got a good whipping over that. But just hit the right little blood vessel in the head, y'all. But I guess that was not really a funny story, but just a recount of my childhood in a 1980s chicken house. Y'all, I'll kind of speed this up a little bit for you and finish getting all of these 2x6s in. Got my 2x6s in, and I actually went with 2x4s back here on this side because I didn't want it to be quite as high as of a threshold for stepping in and out of a door that we'll build right here. But everything's level. These 2x6s are level, and that's how I'm getting ready to measure up 4 feet from the top of those 2x6s, and I'm gonna cut them off with a chainsaw. And then I'll put some 2x4s up and start working on some rafters. Not gonna be much weight on this thing, y'all, so I started to go with 2x6 on the top, but really it's just overkill, and I don't want to waste the 2x6. Not that it would be waste, but I don't need it. I just need 2x4s. There'll be very, very little weight ever on top of this shed roof. And with such a slope to it, it's really not gonna need a 2x6. The longest span that I have is 10 feet between the two center posts. It'll carry this load no problem, y'all. So let me fire up my old Stihl MS-170, little homeowner grade saw, and get these things cut. Oop. Here's a little tip for you on something like this. If you just have a 4-foot cut you need to make off of a solid surface, choose a 4-foot level. A whole lot easier than just using a tape. These chickens don't like it when I'm out here running stuff. But that's all, that's simple. Got them cut. Now I can get some 2x4s run up there. Y'all, what I like to do is always get my screws started before I even put the board up here. And it just makes it easier instead of fumbling with everything and trying to hold the board too. But everything's good and level. I'm just going to zip these in real quick and move on to some rafters. Y'all, here's another little tip for you. When you got a long span and your arms aren't that long, just take you a block of wood, put up underneath the last one that you just installed, and put that in place. Now you got a resting point. So you got a third arm, and you can raise your other end up with ease. Works out pretty good, y'all. All right, y'all, it's looking pretty good. Got all of my rafters up. Now I can cut my nailer boards and get those on. And y'all, I'm on a 4-foot center with these. Not much weight on this, y'all. There's no need to go extreme like building a house. This is a lightweight structure that's never going to have enough of a snow load or anything on it to cave in. And if we were to get a freak foot snow, that would be a real freak, because it's been 20 years since that's happened. It'll probably happen again, but this still hold it, y'all. Good and stout. All right, let me move on to getting that, and then hopefully get some wire strung up. All right, the nailers are installed. Some of them are a little cattywampus because I'm doing it by eye for the most part, but that's all right. They'll be hid with this metal once we put it up. But the first thing, before we put metal up, we're going to go ahead and get our wire strung along the back so we can get it good and taut. And then we'll do the end wall on that end. And then I have to build a door. That's not happening today, y'all. I'd really like to get the metal on this roof today, because there's some storms coming, y'all. I can feel it in the air. So we're going to get as much done as we possibly can. Probably a good idea to backfill all this ditch right here before we get 3 or 4 inches of rain that apparently the weather folks are calling for here in the next day or two. Y'all, this old 10 working out good. And I got me this new little cutter from Harbor Freight. I've always cut metal with a circular saw blade turned around backwards, or just a pair of 10 snips, but I got one of those electric ones. It just shears right through that stuff, y'all. Works out great. So I don't know why I never spent that $30 before, but I'm glad I have it now. So we're gonna get all this cut, get it put on here, and we'll show you the finished product of the roof here in a few minutes, guys. wrap it up for us today. Sometimes you just got to know when to say when. I wanted to get that roof completely done, and y'all, if you've been following us any amount of time, you know that I just can't work as hard as I once did, but I can still work hard. You've seen me out here working. Like with all these time lapses we did today, makes us look like Speedy Gonzalez's, don't it? Mm-hmm. But I just had to stop. I'll finish that roof tomorrow. It's going to be a 4-day project. It started off as a 1 day.
It's only going to be 3 days.
Well,
maybe.
it's just going to be 4.
We're not saying how many days, because every time you do, then it's adding another day. So
we'll say 3 then, because I don't want a 4th day. I got other stuff needs to be done. Lisa and I both do, but we got the back panel done. We put the chicken wire on the back wall. Got it nice and tight. Used some trim boards, a 2x4. If you noticed in the video that Lisa just shot going around the structure. Reused some really old crusty tin. There was a few holes in it. We're not worried about that, y'all. It's not going to flood inside of it. It may take some silicone and patch a few holes. But this is going to work out really good, y'all, for raising meat birds. You don't have to do it on grass. We've done it on grass. We like it on grass. But actually, we put weight on them quicker inside of a hut last fall. So we're going back to the 1980s method. And y'all, if you watch us and you are local to us, and you know if you are, y'all, we sell eggs. We've got eggs every Saturday. You can come out here, buy some eggs, and I'll walk you around and show you everything we do, and we won't charge you a dime for that. Unlike some folks that want to charge you for a tour. We'll show you what we do. If you're local and you want to buy some eggs, I'll take you on a grand tour. Guys,
and if you're local and you just want to learn.
If you just want to, yes, if you're local and you want to learn, get up with us. Our email is always in the description. You email us and send us a phone number or something. We'll give you a call and we'll go from there. If you want to learn how to butcher a chicken or clean a hog or grow a vegetable. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise much higher. We'll see you on the next one.